welcome back everyone. Before heading into PGL, I want to have a word with Chachi and you. Congratulations guys, what an awesome series. So, few questions before diving into the game stuff. Duke, you have the final word on the draft, right? Okay, so Chachi, what do you want to say to Duke for letting Hekarim through after the draft?
I mean, I don't think it was necessarily that bad because we had some picks into it, but at the same time, maybe it was a good ban since we didn't have that much practice into it, but I think it was fine.
It went really well. Do you want to add something?
Yeah, I mean, I take responsibility of the Hekarim not being banned on the last game. I think if I had to change one thing out of all the 4 drafts, it would be this. And going on off stage after the draft, it was the one mistake afterwards that I thought maybe I should have banned Hekarim.
And they showed interesting things even from the very start of the game. I have a replay I want to see, and we saw the caster talking about it during the game. It is the level 1 from you guys. Chachi, talk me through the communication here. It's behind you actually.
Yeah, basically we practiced a lot of level 1s coming into this week, and then this was one of the cheeses we discovered that could be good. And we knew that it's a flashless Hekarim. Actually, he was covering like quite well at one point, but since he doesn't have flash, it's very hard to escape this kind of gank, and I was just telling the team the cooldown of my taunt and when we go.
Duke, what did you think about this level 1?
I mean, we prepared a lot of level 1 because we saw how Fnatic made a big run, and we saw the difference that we have compared to a team like Fnatic is the preparation of the first level. So one of the key points that we focused on during the last 2 weeks were practicing a lot of level 1 with special training designed for level 1. And we actually have way more strategy than this, and this is one of them, of those that we identified were good against SK.
Awesome, I'm looking forward to see more from you guys. Now, Chachi, did you expect the series to be so close? Because you had some issues in the early stages of the game.
To be fair, I expected us to take the series for sure, but at the same time it was much harder in the first 2 games than I thought. Like it went to 40-45 minutes, which is very exhausting for a best of 5 series, and I could already feel it in the last game that overall as players we were just lacking a bit in the focus, and also like the delay didn't really help much. I think we just got out of the zone a bit, and we struggled to get back into it.
Everybody's talking about Splyce and the late game. It's actually becoming a meme now. Do you feel like you're trapped into this late game playstyle?
Sometimes we draft for the late game, like in this game, for example, we had the Vayne, which is assuring us that we get the late game done. But for example, in game 3, we drafted a heavy early mid-game composition and we executed it quite well. So I think we can just play these styles. It's just we sometimes opt for the late game rather, and sometimes we mess up as well and it goes late game.
And comfort style is good sometimes. Now, Duke, we had a talk before the game and you said that you were kind of tired of Splyce being called as the underdogs. So what should we call you guys? What is Splyce now?
I mean, we are just a team that was expected to be top 7 or 8 according to the analyst before the season, and now we are top 4. So every game, apparently, it's a surprise for people watching our games. I would say we are just a contender and a challenger. And when we play against Fnatic, I think we have all our chances. I think today it was a pretty bad series. I think I expected to show way more, looking at how the trainings went in the past 2 weeks. So I think we had a lot of on-stage nerve issues. That's also why we tend to go late game. I think our mid game on stage has been still pretty rough, but I'm confident that maybe after we got this game out of the way, when we play against Fnatic, we'll have a strong showing.
It's interesting because when you talk about the scrims, you say everything is going well, and then on stage you play, I wouldn't say poorly, but not great according to you. So what is different, and how do you motivate your players to play better game after game?
I mean, during the regular season, we were not that hot in scrims, to be honest. Like we had sometimes pretty rough week, even like for example the week where we won against G2, we had a really rough week of scrims. But during those 2 last week, I think we had a super high win rate in scrims, so we were super confident going into coming into this match. But yeah, I think it was maybe a bit of nerves, and but I'm confident that we can be way better in the mid game at least.
What is your take on this, Chachi?
Yeah, I think we had really good results in scrims, but the problem is sometimes we just don't manage to replicate the same level of focus week by week, and then we drop back in level on stage as well. So this is what we need to fix coming into the Fnatic game.
Agree, and you'll have a big challenge facing Fnatic here. How is it going to go?
I don't think it's that big of a challenge as it looks. I honestly think we can take the series, so we will prepare going into the series with that mindset and we will take it.
All right, and I'll be looking forward to this one. GG once again, merci beaucoup Duke. And to wrap up this week, let's send it back to Sjokz for post-game lobby.
Welcome everyone to the LEC post-game lobby. I'm Sjokz, joined by Deficio and Kobbe. Of course, after that epic best of 5 that went all the way to 4 games, we heard a lot from your coach already. He said maybe a bit nervous in game 1. He thinks you actually didn't play as well as you had expected to play. What do you feel?
I feel like in game 1 we are usually just a slow starting team, and we usually get better throughout the best of 5 series. And I'm not sure if it's nerves or we just need to get a bit warm and then we start playing better. But for sure, I think we didn't play too well in the first game. And I mean, generally, I'm happy, but we could have, like, game 3 was really good from us. And I would have liked to show that every game instead of going to 40 minutes in some games.
Yeah, game 3 was actually super clean.
This was insane, by the way.
But this was also crazy. Can you tell us about this, Kobbe?
Well, this was really close. I actually thought I had flash here, but I didn't. So I got hit by some CC I shouldn't. And I'm really close to dying, but Sjokz has a really good channel here that just does it so I can clean up the fight here.
Can someone explain to me why, when there's a Vayne in a game, and in the beginning you always say, well, in team fights, if she's untouched, she's gonna kill everybody. As the enemy team, you know that as well. So why is it so hard to kill Kobbe?
Ulti makes it obviously hard to kill her. Q makes it hard. No, but again, it's pretty hard to like instant target her unless you do catch her with early CC.
Yeah.
And also, you gotta keep in mind, there's 4 other players on Splyce. They're not even looking at the enemy. They're looking at Kobbe. They're like, oh, where is he? Okay, I'm gonna stand right on top of him. I'm gonna shield for him. You know, I'm gonna ult him with Shen. So you're not just dealing with him. You're actually dealing with 4 players protecting him.
Yeah, Deficio actually said during the game that he felt bad for you because SK was actually doing quite well at some point, and it was all on you, and he felt like it was an enormous responsibility put on you by the team, but I guess you feel comfortable in that role.
I mean, I don't think so. When I played Vayne and I got 2 early kills, and if we didn't screw up the early dive in bot lane, I think this game is just really easy for us. But we messed up a bit, and I feel like if I play Vayne and I get to those 30 minutes and get my items, it is my job, even if everyone else is trying to kill me, because that's what they should do.
You are a player of the series as well, with 71% of the vote. So I think in your cabinet, you now have all pro, 80 carry, as well as this player of the series, probably some players of the games, and perhaps some other votes, which we don't know the results to.
What are you hinting towards?
Nothing. I'm just, you know, it's confusion. There's something that is...
Coach of the split Kobbe. Congratulations, you got it, mate.
That's a curveball. I do want to also button this up for SK Gaming, because I think we should look at this 2 ways. In one way, they've shown great things this split in their inaugural split. I think they also really challenged Splyce. But I do want to make that little caveat that in this game, the guy who we talked about, the entire split for me, really dropped the ball. I think Selfmade did not help his team at all in that last game specifically. And I think that's something they're going to have to reevaluate.
Yeah, I think just looking at last game only.
Yeah, just last game.
That was extremely weird to watch. And if we're talking about, you know, star players who can carry the team forward in playoffs, like Kobbe did here with Splyce, you were really looking at Selfmade in some of these final games. But it wasn't even the fact that he didn't like solo carry the game, because you can't expect that from a jungler. It was more the fact that building IH on Rek'Sai in this important game, when actually you should just go on GA Sterex and just be a little bit of a tank who still deals pretty decent damage. Probably actually the same damage as with IH, I feel, unless you get lucky crits. Those kind of things are just really weird. And then some of the plays he ended up making, it seemed like a little bit of tilt maybe just generally coming in. Hard to obviously be in the mind of the player, but I think their SK actually had decent chances with the way the game was going to win. They had double Mountain, triple Infernal. They got a bunch of early kills as well. I think there were ways for them to finish out that game. I'm not blaming it all on him, but I don't think he helped them actually win that last game.
Did you guys see that he bought the IE? Did you guys talk about it in the comms?
Yeah, Sjokz was like feeling he was getting behind, and then we see a BF sword, and they're like, okay, I guess he's going early GA. And then we see the pickaxe, and then you see it's Infinity Edge Rek'Sai. And then I'm a bit scared, you know, for the one shot.
If he crits on you, it's over.
Yeah, but if he doesn't, it's really useless. But I'm not a Rek'Sai player, so honestly don't.
He died very quickly,
Cop out.
obviously. But
Yeah.
I think overall, SK in the last game had chances. I think in the third game, when they were trying to stall, you guys were obviously pretty far ahead. We also got to see some rookie tendencies with them rushing for the Baron, where I know if you just stall, you will lose inhib, you will probably lose a Baron, which really still sucks, but that's definitely a better way to try and get to full late game than rushing a Baron where you're guaranteed to die.
Yeah, I agree.
So
I
it's
think
just some of those things where I think maybe next split, they would actually look better in this kind of best of 5.
Yeah, that's what I was going to get at. It's not that I don't think we should crucify any of these players
No,
for the
not at
mistakes
all.
they made in their first playoffs. I think they still showed fantastic things, and they kept other teams out of the playoffs that have wanted to be here, and they pushed Splyce. So we're going to be looking forward to summer for SK, but for Splyce, this means that we've got our matchups for round 2. Fnatic is going up against Splyce in the first series, and then G2 is going up versus OG. Now, I'm having a bit of trouble with this because I know you guys hate being called the underdog all the time, but I mean, from our perspective, it still feels that way because Fnatic played so well. Vizicsacsi did say this is a series we can totally win. We feel completely confident. How do you feel, Kobbe?
I mean, I agree with that. We can totally win. But obviously, we're going to be the underdog since Fnatic went to World Finals, and now they're starting to look like a really strong team again. And it looked really convincing against Vitality, but at the same time, I think Vitality really played like, inside word. But I think it's going to be a close series where I can definitely see us winning.
Yeah, I have a memory, but I can't really grasp it, of a very close Fnatic Splyce series of some years ago. I might be wrong. But you guys, we looked at the records before, and you guys, when you go to playoffs, you always end up pushing it to 5 games, or very often against teams that end up in the final, or sometimes even winning. So you haven't been very lucky. You haven't been very lucky in that regard with the route. But I do think that this could be one of those moments where you can finally shed all that stuff, you know? You don't have to be the underdog anymore. You don't have to be the 3rd best team. If you win this, we have a whole new conversation of Splyce. You know, is that something you guys would want?
I mean, yeah, even today we really didn't want to lose because that would just prove everything right about what some people are saying about Splyce. And I think this is the big one. If we lose, you know, it's fine, but it's not fine because I'll be really sad. But if we win that series, I think we can really go and make a name for ourselves. Yeah, then there's G2 Origin waiting. So
exactly, that's also the other game. I do find it interesting because there's many other teams that do worse than you that we talk better about. You know, maybe that is something we have to check ourselves for because Splyce is consistently showing up in playoffs.
Don't look at me, I'm not on the broadcast.
Anymore. You're actually always a Splyce fan.
I used to cheer for the Splyce a lot and predict to win series. Now, obviously, it would be kind of weird if I did. But to be fair, though, I wouldn't mind them beating Fnatic. You know, I'll take that.
Because then you don't have to take out
what do you mean by
Fnatic.
that?
Well, I mean, it would be great to not that. I mean, just win. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah. So, what do you think about that matchup? Now you've seen. I also want to say that I don't think this was the best Splyce. Like, I've seen you guys play better throughout the split than today, maybe outside of game 3. So, if the best Splyce shows up and the best Fnatic shows up, Deficio, what do we got?
I mean, if it's, let's say, peak both teams, I would probably give it to Fnatic. I like though that Splyce are showing more creative drafts. A lot of flex picking coming around, the Vel'Koz as well, which was a big surprise, I think. That really made it difficult for SK in that game because they're like, okay, we're getting pushed in top with Jace, and then there's a Vel'Koz bot lane, like with Tam Kench. What exactly are they going to do here to not fall really far behind? I think those kind of things are always super interesting in these best of 5s. Duke is talking about a million level 1 strategies. Like, there's a lot of things that can very quickly swing a game in favor of them. And when you guys played Fnatic in the last game of the regular season, it was quite a stomp, but it was a level 2 gank bot lane that gave 2 kills over to a Vayne.
Yeah.
And that obviously kind of ruined the entire early game. The same thing happened for us against Fnatic, also completely ruined the early game. So if you remove that part, you might get a much closer game there. And then suddenly people start believing more that Splyce can actually challenge Fnatic. But people will look at that one game and say it was a stomp, therefore Fnatic heavy favorites.
Do you think that is true, that you have do you feel like you have a lot more in your toolbox, a lot more strategies coming into this year?
I would say some of these different strategies and potential weird picks I've had for a long time. Just didn't really have the right situation to pull them out. But as a team, we've been looking at a lot of other teams in LEC and even other regions, and we just figured that we need to be more creative and like both in draft and gameplay, because we can't just play 2 standard and 2 by the book all the time. So that's where I think we're really evolving right now,
Okay.
which will make us stronger in the best of 5.
I definitely think so. I'm sorry, but I just got the confirmation from production. You actually never played Fnatic in playoffs, so I don't know
It was a
if I
G2
just
game.
made that up or
It
something.
was the 3-2 against
Yes,
G2, where
that was it.
everyone predicted G2
So
like
that
3-0.
makes it even more exciting, actually. That also means we get the Reckless versus Kobbe in a best of 5, and I only bring it up because I don't know if you saw PGL yesterday.
I saw some of it, but then I didn't watch after.
Yeah,
5
I
minutes.
get that, dude. It's long. But anyway, we asked Reckless about the All-Pro, and I asked them who they voted for, and Reckless actually said that he didn't vote for you because he thinks that he is one of the only players that matches up against you better, mostly in lane then, I believe that is. But what do you think about that, and how do you look at that matchup?
I mean, I guess he has his reasons. I think when you vote, you shouldn't look at your, like, by the way he voted, it was only by the 2 games he had against us and not by an overall thing. So in a way, I understand it, but it's still kind of weird.
You think they should look at like the general performance?
I mean, maybe that's just me. I didn't vote for him either because I didn't think he performed that well this split compared to what you expect from Reckless. And I think he's playing much better now. And there's obviously not much bad you can say about him, right?
No, absolutely not.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sadly, when 80 carries are having these small like 1v1 things,
Yeah.
you can always just say it's the support. This guy over here, man. Whoa. I mean, what can I do?
Well, I'm definitely looking forward to that matchup. And then there's G2 OG. We've talked about it a lot already. But Kobbe, who do you think is going to win, G2 or OG?
I would say it's going to be at least 4 or 5 games. And I would give the advantage to G2. But I'm really not sure. I really think it can go both ways. But I would say G2 just by gut feeling.
Yeah, I think that's the total expectation. I think you can also agree with that expectation, at least, Deficio.
I mean, G2, they got first place in regular season, right?
Yeah.
So I assume based on that, they have to be favorites. But I'm all in on the OG hype train.
I mean, you have to be. They're paying you. Like, you cannot.
It would be very weird if I was jumping on the G2 one.
Also, what's very interesting is, of course, G2 and OG will be in Rotterdam no matter what, because whoever loses that will be in the semifinal against the winner of Fnatic versus Splyce on the 13th and 14th of April. You can get your tickets at eu.lolesports.com/Rotterdam. And if you need more convincing, there will be all kind of actions and activations outside of the games. For instance, Xpeke and Deficio will be there signing whatever you want.
Both days.
Both days.
From 12 o'clock.
So I don't know if you need more reason to buy tickets and to come and watch the games.
Well, if you do buy a ticket to come get a picture with us, please don't leave after. Actually go into the venue and watch the games. Don't just buy a ticket for us. That would be weird.
And also important, the LEC Spring Champions will then represent Europe at the Mid-Season Invitational, this year being held in Vietnam and Chinese Taipei between the 1st and the 19th of May. So we'll see as well. Of course, we always forget that, but it's a trophy, and then the real work after that internationally also starts. So time for a bit of fun. Kobbe, we actually also invited Xerxes up, but I think he was feeling a bit tired after all the games. Okay. But we wanted to take a look at his tweets and more specifically his paintings after games. Can you explain to us what he does and why he does it?
I'm actually not sure because I never see it when he's drawing because he usually does it on off day, and he's telling me he's spending like hours and hours on these paintings, so I'm not really sure how he does it.
So here we go.
Let's see.
So this is Splyce versus Sjokz.
That's him playing Sejuani for sure.
Yeah, there's an Aatrox for sure.
This looks like an old one. This is not as good as what he's drawing now.
Oh, he's gotten better? The artist has evolved?
Yeah, like he's drawing much better.
All right, I don't know. Do we have another one production to show us? No, this is it. So unfortunately for you, Kobbe, we were going to ask Xerxes to draw the result of this game. So you have to take his place. Are you down? Deficio will help you.
I guess I can try, but I'm not...
Go ahead. You can go over there.
So we're going over there to draw?
You can go over there.
Wait, do you have to draw... It's 4 games, so I guess we only do the final game.
Draw a summary. Draw a summary.
Okay.
This is great.
I love how I'm getting pulled into this. So the tools we have freehand. You know, you can just do like whatever. Okay. We have one, if you ever need this for whatever reason, you probably don't. This is an arrow, okay? Here's a circle. So you can do like a really, you can do like this, and then like a smile. There you go, that could be you.
Okay.
As an example, yeah? Your turn to draw something.
Okay, is it on a normal one now?
It is on normal freehand, yes, you can just draw.
So...
Do you want to keep the face or do we kill it?
I mean, maybe kill it because
if
you do it like Sjokz, he usually has both the logos, so maybe there's like a Splyce logo here.
Okay, okay.
I'll just make like a nest. This is a snake.
Yeah.
And
Yes, we need the SK logo. then.
SK,
So I just type S.
yellow SK.
Okay.
Yeah.
There we go.
And then obviously it's me playing, so I need some champions
Let me just do this.
and some
That's a 3, by the way.
3-1.
There we go. Nice.
And then he usually writes the scores as well and draws the champions, but
Scores right there.
yeah, but like for every single game and KDA and stuff.
Oh, no.
But that takes too long.
You got to draw Vayne now.
Drawing, that's gonna be interesting, but basically like
2
this,
legs.
yeah, and
Yeah.
that here.
That's your face.
Yeah, some long hair, or actually it's not that long,
Okay, okay.
and then I'm not sure how we. This needs to like go really small into detail, but basically like
Oh, I put
the
this in
little
now. That's nice.
this thing. What was my KDA? It was
1 million
I
or
really-
something.
yeah. Let's just say 100.
100. And then I'm doing a sad face over here because SK lost. There. Oh yeah, we can draw like this is. How's
I mean, I didn't even build Infinite Edge in the game, but the Rek'Sai, it's like I don't know, it's like a sword that goes up, to
yeah,
the right,
like this,
and then
you do like. Oh, whoa! Let's not do anything. All right, everyone ignore this
just
part over
back
here.
a bit here.
Yeah, this doesn't. This is an Infinity Edge.
Okay, 100 KDA, and he usually writes if he's the MVP as well.
It's actually 10-8, but you already wrote 100. And if we clear the screen, we kill everything. So that would ruin everything. So now it's 100 KDA.
Yeah, that's an M.
Ooh.
There we go.
That's more. I mean, it has to be enough. Again, this is Infinity Edge, just so everyone knows. I was really going out the wrong path here. I'll leave this on.
Oh, thank you so much, Kobbe, for doing that. And like,
I'm not gonna draw Cyan Vel'Koz too. That's a bit too hard, I think.
that's difficult. This was extremely entertaining. I bet Xerxes wishes he was on the show now.
I think Kobbe did a much better job than I did. The Vayne was very nice.
I love how you immediately thought back to some moments with Kobbe on the telestrator, and you were like,
That's the thing with the
"Let's just cross
Infinity
that
Edge
through."
and the handle and then the top part of the sword. Yeah, I was like, this could go really wrong.
Yeah.
So it ended up being that.
Yeah, I like it.
But the unhappy face surely was good enough.
Yeah, the unhappy face was fantastic. I think that wraps up the series also for us. So now that we've seen the first round, it's hard because you used to be like an unbiased analyst, so I could just ask you a general question. I'm still going to do it. Have your expectations as for who will get in the final changed by what you've seen this weekend?
Not really. I mean, again, Fnatic played the exact same way as they did in regular season. So I think if you believe they were going to make the final based on regular season, then yesterday's game just didn't really change that for you. Obviously, the Splyce SK series was a little bit closer. And I think maybe if you compare how convincing the wins were between Fnatic Vitality and Splyce SK, you would again stick to Fnatic right there. But Vitality also really did kind of fall apart. So I'm just actually right now extremely excited to watch the Splyce Fnatic game to see if Splyce can prove everyone wrong once again. And if they do manage to beat Fnatic there, I think honestly nothing stops them from going to the final where they can face OG.
How big is the belief that you guys can make the run to the final, to the trophy?
I mean,
Is it bigger than previous years? Let me put it that way.
I think so. I think right now we're playing better and we have a higher ceiling as well than in previous lineups. And just how we've evolved and how we're playing, I feel like it's much better compared to last year where we got third place, but as a team, I feel like we weren't nearly as good as we are now. And I just really hope we can show it in more than like one game in a best of 5.
Why are you guys better than last year with this lineup? Because I think a lot of people on paper were obviously a little bit concerned with Niski not being on, you know, Mickey as well.
Well, the secret is that it has to look worse on paper to get higher. That's like the opposite of Misfits, right?
Interesting. It's a good strategy.
Well,
Great strategy.
Successful. So we'll check in with you, of course, next week. The best of luck for that best of 5 versus Fnatic. We're also going to take a look at some Alienware big plays as we close out our first week of playoffs in the LEC. First up, yesterday, Bwipo, he got camped by Vitality, but still managed to pull off some fancy moves on Gangplank. As the pirate says himself, mercy sank with my ship.
Go go back to the physical damage as Kobbe just nukes it.
Yeah, trying to extend that trade, uses the Cutlass for the slow, a few more autos, wants to get forward. Oh, buying a bit more time, Whipple playing that one so well! No! Oh man, baited, outsmarted, so well played.
It was such a bait, but here comes Mowgli, here comes Jackdaw, and the rest of Vitality.
Flashing forward, Mowgli's just gonna move in, he should just be able to take this one down. Whipple's still alive!
Wait, what?
Whipple!
Jackdaw?
I'm sorry.
What?
I'm sorry.
No way!
I'm sorry.
No way!
I got TP though, but Talia have a roam without TP.
I can stay, by the way, go behind him, but I think there is a ward here, so...
I hold him.
Might be dead, might not. Might
He's
heal.
dead, he's dead.
Yo, Talia top.
Yeah,
Sit
Jam
top,
and top
now.
as well.
Should I TP? Woo! Holy shit, I'm surfing.
Yeah, the definition of tilt, that is the replay you get then, because that is so annoying.
Very annoying. That's very true.
So basically, Kobbe, you know, you got to tell Juke and everyone, just, you can't go top ever, because that's going to happen, apparently.
I mean, yeah, I guess just go bot instead.
Just go
Gang
bot
bot.
instead. Yeah. Also, in the same series, we also got our very first look at the reworked Kale. Spoilers, she is pretty OP in the right hands. Vitality had no idea what hit them, as Fnatic's Nemesis completely took over the game.
Jackdaw's really trying to catch him.
Yeah, desperately running forward, but there's not a lot of damage here. Nemesis is going to cut through him, but the ultimate now coming in. We'll be able to finish it off with the help of Jinx, but it's a 1-for-1 trade. Kobbe steps forward, but it's a very strong Kale. It does get taken down. Nemesis on the edge of death. He's going to manage to live. He's been in Attila flashes forward. Once the reset takes a lot of damage, though. Out comes the ultimate. Bye to Attila. They take it down. Nemesis on the edge of death. He's going to manage to live. He's been in
Do you need help?
I think they need help.
Okay, I have here for you if you come to me.
Oh my, look, he's literally on the Nexus 1v3. He does not care.
Hook comes in. He's just going to keep it going. Does he get the chance to use the ultimate as well? He does. That's the double kill. Wants a few more. They're walking right into the fountain. They just keep beating him. That's the Quadra. Is he going to get the penta? I cannot believe it.
Are we I'm going.
They're going.
We're descending, I guess. Let's go help kill.
Penta. I'll go now. Go next. Go.
Let's go. Finally.
Let's not give up. Not give up. No.
Jackdaw.
Really blows.
What are you? Okay, do it again. Do your little
Do
whip.
that again? What is that?
Stand aside. What is he doing? Is he Ivern?
Is something coming in?
Okay, let's start
Jungler?
position.
Jungler?
Top laner.
On your back?
Kale.
Kale? No.
Kale.
You got it.
Yeah, you got it.
What?
You got it.
What is this?
So if you haven't been watching Ready Check,
Oh
we did
my
charades,
God.
and that is Deficio's
How would you
Kale.
guys do Kale? I tried to do like
First off,
melee
wings,
range. Yeah, I
like
should
in
have
the
started with
back.
wings, obviously. That would have been way easier.
Also, like that movement.
I tried to do I'm in melee range, so I was like doing this. And then now I'm ranged, you know, doing this.
Oh my God, I wonder what you look like when you're like dancing to disco music.
There's
or
probably a
something.
reason I'm not dancing a whole lot.
Yeah. Also, what I also found really cool is that Nemesis was just, like comparison to Caps, Nemesis is so cold-blooded. He's like, oh,
True.
yeah, Penta.
I think he
Whatever.
might have ruined a couple of ranked games after this because people saw the pentakill and they're like, okay, obviously you gotta pick kill no matter what
But Kale
because
is
she's that
very
strong.
strong, though.
Yes, I just want to say that at 17 minutes he was 5-0-5, so he already had like 2.5 items. I'm not taking anything away from the penta, just saying Kale itself will not always do that. At like 20 minutes, he had 12 or 13 kills after that pentakill, so he was very, very, very fit. Normally it takes Kale a lot of time to get to that point. But yeah, if you get there early, you will do that.
Yeah, so Kobbe, if they pick it, just don't give him 5 kills.
Yeah, my
it.
solo Q kills look a bit different because
Yeah.
everyone tilts there and then you just FF before you're level 16. So.
Then you never get there.
Yeah, you never get there. Okay, final replay when it comes down, or when it came down to it rather, in game 4, Splyce and Kobbe pulled off some massive team fights to win the series. Let's take another look.
Actually, Peter is going to jump in. The face call comes out. SK want the fight. Splyce, the front line is Chachi. Humanoid from the side. There's the Glacial Prism. Xerxes caught out by Whirlim. It's all on Kobbe. Watch the AD carries here. Kobbe steps forward into the hero's entrance. Knocked up. And look at the damage coming out from SK. That Rune Ants from Crown Shot's doing absolute work. Chachi takes one. We have a little status game. As Kobbe's still on the front line. He gets one. Can Kobbe do it? He's still alive. He gets self-made. He gets Pyrian. Somehow Kobbe managed to survive and takes down round 2, and Pyrion and Whirlip have to run for the wind.
Baron buff is the ultimate equalizer when it comes to 1v1 matchups inside. Oh,
Crown shot straight into the GA. The Unleashed power is just too much damage. Dreams forced away as well. Pyrion opened up on by Kobbe here. Dreams gets the Justice Punch in self-made just way too late before he even joins the party. Will pop the Void Rush, but shut down onto Crown Shot, shut down onto Dreams. SK's hopes in this game are being shut down by Splyce.
Cool little fist bump to Norskeren. Must be cool for him because this is his first playoffs, as far as I know, for Norskeren.
No, he's been
Rocket, right?
Rocket.
Oh, it wasn't Rocket.
He got 3-0 by Splyce, actually.
Exactly. So how was it now winning with him? Because we always see him as a super excitable guy.
I think he was pretty calm today compared to what he normally is.
Yeah.
Not sure why, but I still think he played pretty well. And obviously I remind him of that series sometimes, just to make a bit of fun. But I think he's doing really well. He's a good player.
Yeah, I agree. I think actually both supports had a fantastic day.
Fancy watch as well he's wearing there.
Yeah, he's wearing a Rolex, I think. Am I supposed to say that? I don't know. Anyway, that'll be it from us because honestly, between the drawing and whatever we've been talking about, it's been a long day, but it's been great. But there is more League of Legends because across the Atlantic, the LCS playoffs is now well underway with FlyQuest versus Golden Guardians. And then after the last game over there, you can also check out our rebroadcast of Splyce versus SK. Now, we'll be back next week, Friday, for Fnatic versus Splyce, and then Saturday for G2 versus OG. We already can't wait. Well, you have to wait just a week. Thank you very much for watching this weekend, and we'll see you next week for more LEC playoffs. Goodbye.
People just don't like Splyce. They're so boring, they don't do anything. But we're never bad, we're always really close to actually making it.
We are just done being an underdog, and out of the 4 teams playing this weekend, I think we are the strongest one.
Whirlip is proving that Vizicsacsi
Here we go. He's going to force the 4v4. The charm comes out. They root up on his Dreams. Crash jumps across the wall. Over here goes Pyrion. Baby on death will knock him back as Xerxes locks him up. And in a game of inches, it looks like SK are the ones to strike first. The shutdown comes out from Kraushot, and they were an inch away from losing, but SK take game 1.
What keeps me going is my own skill, that I know that in the right situation I'm able to win everything.
Kobbe comes in with the side, the blade puller pulls it back, it's a triple for Kobbe. He gets popped into his GA, the second Nexus tower will fall, and Splyce will strike back and tie us up at 1-1. He's on the inhibitor already, here goes Humanoid, jumps into the middle of the mall, the Ring of Frost, they're on to Pyrion, but he shuffles them back with the soldiers. Organic destruction from Kobbe, and they take down 1, and they're just going to clean them all up. And after an impeccable early game, an impeccable mid-game, Splyce are 1 game away from winning this round of playoffs.
Well,
no,
wait, that's level 1 flash. Oh, he has no flash.
With a taunt, he's got no flash.
Kalista.
It's 4v4, it's 4v4.
Kalista 1 HP.
Rek'Sai no play.
Kalista nothing. He goes on me. Yeah, nice.
The Splyce come a knocking, they sweep SK under the map, and they prove